that she can continue.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I do have a slide. I am now going to display what I've got, if I can find it. My name is Adeyemo. Okay. So just bear with me. Something is not right. I need to find where my slide is. Okay, I got my slide. So thank you once again, everybody. I will not take all your evening. It's a nice evening here. It's a kind of evening that I'll just love to, gather around the TV with a duvet. It's raining here. Okay, my slide's not moving. So a little bit about me. So since 2019, I have been in the media and the social media communications world. I publish a magazine. I do newsletters, content creation, and so on and so forth. Before then, for about 15 years, I was a teacher at a school in the United Kingdom. And before then, I started a PhD in law and I abandoned it. But I do have a master's in law and all of that good stuff. So that's a little bit about me. What to expect tonight? An half-an-hour presentation. I'm looking to rub minds with you, and I'm hoping for interaction. Like I've said, I've been in this exclusively. I could just ask you to mute your okay, there you go, Bola. I think I may have done that for you. Okay, if I could just ask for your cooperation and your openness. Let's dive into the world of branding together. I may have been in this space since 2019. I don't know it all. And I don't claim to be an expert. I'm always learning, and I hope we all can learn together tonight. So here we go. If Ms. Tayo allows us for this series to go on, I'm intending after tonight that next time we meet, if it's allowed, we'll go into brand mission, vision, identity. Actually, we're doing some work on brand identity tonight, brand values, social media marketing, and social media management. You really can't do much work on social media management without talking first and foremost about your brand, because your brand is the big picture, as it were, of your product. So the first question I have is, what do you already know about branding? And this is where I ask a question, and this is where you're mute and you maybe give an answer. What do you already know about branding? Because life, as you know, is about branding. So I'm going to keep quiet now and hope I see people raise their hands and then they say one or two things about branding. Okay, no one is raising their hands. Oh yes, hi Bree. So if you please unmute yourself, thank you so very much. What do you already know about branding?
Branding is your the way you're positioned in the market arena. And it's also about reputation and your values. I think that's what I know about branding. It's the way your customers see you, what you stand for, what your brand stands for, basically.
That's brilliant. That's such a beautiful way to start. And much of my presentation, thanks, Brie. Much of my presentation today looks at that perspective from how the customer perceives you. And someone has said something in a text. Let me see. Branding is who you are. What makes you. Very good. Thank you very much, Anne. Such that there's the business branding and there's personal branding. Now we know that some people they are their brands, right? They are their brands. And so everything they do is about them individually. Tonight, we're not talking about personal branding. We're looking into business branding and what that is. Brie, your hand is still up. Did you want to say something new? Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, no, that's fine. So I'm going to play you a brief introduction.
Design and branding.
Can you hear that?
are part of every single thing that we do as humans. It's a way of signaling to others non-verbally who we are, what we believe in, what is important to us. There was a time when a different form, a different flavor, a different bottle shape, those things really did excite consumers, people. But people have so much more power than they've ever had before. They want to understand and know that the things that they're buying are coming from companies they feel are worthy of contributing to. And that's something that we have really never seen before. And that has created a real democratization of design and branding. Hi, I'm Debbie Millman, and I am a brand designer. I am an educator, and I am the chair of the Masters in Branding program here at the School of Visual Arts in New York City. My most recent book is called Why Design Matters, which is based on my long-running podcast, Design Matters with Debbie Millman. Design and branding are some of our earliest behaviors as humans. As far back as 10,000 years ago, we started to construct symbols to communicate our beliefs. And we began to do this all over the planet. I consider those early constructions very bottom up. We created these symbols for each other, by each other, for free. Really only in the last 250 or so years that the model of bottom-up branding was tipped and turned when the corporation began to appropriate that behavior to create widespread recognition for branded products. Whether it's a religion, political platform, sugar-free beverage, all of these constructions use branding in exactly the same way to create more recognizable consensus. But it's really only in the last 10 years that we have begun to see that top-down model begin to flip back to bottom-up again. And that is really the thing that excites me almost more than anything today. Branding is no longer just a tool of capitalism. Branding has become a profound manifestation of the human spirit. People aren't as interested in different anymore. They're looking much more critically to see what organizations stand for. A really good example of an organization that is taking some risks with communicating what they believe is what Nike has done with Colin Kaepernick. When Nike first introduced the idea that they were supporting Colin Kaepernick, quite a lot of people were up in arms. But that initial wave of displeasure was fleeting. And what we saw long term was a majority of people were actually very supportive of Nike communicating their beliefs through the behavior of the brand. And then we also began designing movements in this bottom-up way. And one of the most powerful and one of the most successful has been Black Lives Matter. It has all the tenets of branding. It has a name, it has a hashtag, it has a website, it has a logo, it has passionate belief, but it's much more than a brand. What this movement has done is question, challenge, and provoke behavior change. We've also seen that happen with the pink pussy hat. We've seen that happen with Me Too. Certain embedded behavior is no longer being tolerated. And we've seen behavior transformed. We really do have the power to change the future of this planet, just with the sheer decision that we're making about what we buy and what we choose to contribute to. The markers of success or failure in branding are really evident. It's in how many people believe you. Anybody that is thinking about creating a brand, the first question has to be why? Why do we need this thing, idea, belief, product. Why? The second question has to be, what is the benefit? People are going to be giving you money for this product, or people are going to be giving you a piece of their soul if it is a movement. What is the benefit for humanity? You have sound strategic answers to both of these questions, then you have something that you can begin to build on. Create something that has meaning, both for the planet and for humanity.
Get smarter, faster with videos from the world's biggest thinkers.
Okay, I showed that video as an introduction to, now I need to get back to my PowerPoint. As an introduction for us to
learn even more from the world's biggest thinkers.
As an introduction to branding, because what I like for us to do tonight is to guide you to critically think about the products we're putting together. As the lady said, to question, challenge, to provoke our thinking into critically examining our brands, right? Okay, so here are examples of brands that we surround ourselves with. Our lives are filled with brands. I dare say that life is about branding. Everything we wear, we choose, we eat, places we go, is informed by brand. Question. This is where I ask a question and then you're mute and then you speak back. What do these brands tell us about us? I miss Starbucks is not here. Netflix, PayPal. How do these brands inform us of the way we live and how intertwined are some of our lives actually around Google, for example, Visa, Facebook? Does anyone want to share their thoughts at this time, please? What do these brands tell us about ourselves and the way we live? It's a question I like to guide you to think about, to guide us to examine. Any takers? Okay, I don't see any hands. All right. I brought this slide. Just anyone?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just gonna. I wasn't sure exactly what we're trying to allude to, but in my mind, like once I see Amazon, I'm thinking ease, quick, accessible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the universality of brands. Look at Apple. I bet everyone here has an Apple. You know, I got an Apple phone or an Apple product. I bet we have Apple. Take a look at Netflix, and see the way Netflix evolved. I think it was Love Films before. We used to rent DVDs, and then Netflix just obliterated that that industry. And then Facebook, we can't do without any of these brands. It's just what I'm trying to allude to, really, the universality of these brands. So what is branding? My submission is it's a process of creating a distinct and memorable identity of a product, meaning you've left the product, you still have some sort of memories about that product. It involves shaping the perception, image, and reputation of the brand. You know, many people buy Apple for a particular reason. You buy Nike for a particular reason. You buy the Adidas shoes for runners for a particular reason. We go to a particular gym for a reason. So branding involves helping people, guiding them to think what we want them to think about our products. Like when I was pregnant, for example, there was only one place to go shopping for baby products. In the UK was Mamas and Papas, and you would not have loved your kid enough not to have gone to shop at Mamas and Papas, because the way they tied Mamas and Papas to every pregnancy, you just had to shop there. That's just what I wanted you to consider there. This is my second video.
Coke is just soda.
Okay. And I brought this to get you to think about how popular products have become a part of our lives. So this is how Apple and Nike have branded our brains. I'm not going to play it all. Just have a
Tylenol, just acetaminophen. And Levi's are just jeans. Yet consumers go out of their way to select these specific brands over others.
An economist would say, how is this possible that a rational consumer would be willing to pay more for exactly the same thing? We love to think about ourselves as rational. That's not how it works. A very famous study done by colleagues at Duke University had flashed either the Apple logo or the IBM logo to two randomized groups of participants.
The study found that after being subliminally exposed to the Apple logo, compared to when you've been exposed to the IBM logo, participants performed better on creative tasks.
And the argument is that Apple has been telling you this story over and over again, that Apple is the brand for hip, cool, fun, creative people.
This is the true power of brands. They can influence our behavior in ways that extend way beyond the point of sale. So, to what degree can the influence of brands wreak havoc on our ability to make rational spending decisions? This is Your Brain on Money. This is Americus Reed. He studies identity and marketing at the University of Pennsylvania.
When I make choices about different brands, I'm choosing to create an identity. When I put that shirt on, when I put those shoes on, those jeans, that hat, someone is going to form an impression about what I'm about. So if I'm choosing Nike over Under Armour, I'm choosing a kind of different way to express affiliation with sport. The Nike thing is about performance. The Under Armour thing is about the underdog. I have to choose which of these different conceptual pathways is most consistent with where I am in my life.
And once a consumer makes that choice, their relationship with a brand can deepen to the point where they identify with the brand like family. And once you identify with a brand, it can shape the way you behave.
And it's really interesting because they will also, if someone talks bad about that product, brand, or service, they will be the first to go out and defend. Why? Because an attack on the brand is an attack on themselves.
Okay, I wanted to just ask you here, just to correlate what the guy was saying, an attack on the brands, an attack on them. I heard a conversation where someone was saying some nonsense about Beyonce, and the other person was not having it. And neither of them had met Beyonce before. But you see how branding works when you feel a particular kind of ownership. The next video I want to show you is Red Bull. Red Bull is not the healthiest of all drinks, but because of the way they've branded themselves, they make billions, actually millions and millions and millions, based on an unhealthy drink. That's why I'm showing you this one to think about branding in that ways. They've shaped us to say, oh, we need Red Bull. We need that because it's now an extension of ourselves.
In 2019, Red Bull sold 1 can for almost every person on the planet. But besides selling 7.5 billion cans of a very sweet drink, they also run 2 Formula One teams, 5 professional football clubs, and 1 ice hockey team. Not mentioning events like the Crashed Ice Challenge or the Wings for Life run. The thousands of athletes that Red Bull sponsors and the media production they run. Obviously, Red Bull does much more than selling an energy drink. But is all that just marketing? In the summer of 1982, the Austrian businessman Dietrich Mateschitz found himself suffering from jet lag during a business trip to Thailand. He tried a local drink called Krating Deng, which improved his jet lag substantially. Krating Deng can be translated to red gaur, the gaur being a huge bison from Southeast Asia. So it basically means Red Bull. Inspired by the magical qualities of the product, Mateschitz decided to bring the product home in the format of a brand new product category, the energy drink. He pitched his idea several times to Western investors, but got turned down because they didn't see a market for the product outside of Asia. Mateschitz was well aware that there was no market at the time, so he decided to create one. He was so convinced of his product that he invested $500,000 himself. He then teamed up with the boss of the Krating Deng manufacturer, who also invested $500,000 for the other half of the company. Next, Mateschitz adapted the formula and flavor for the European market and successfully launched the product in Austria in 1987. Because the drink was initially banned in Germany, Red Bull profited from the reputation as an outlaw brand. Many young Germans would cross the border to Austria to buy the banned energy drink, and Red Bull sold over 1 million cans in their first year. From Austria, it quickly spread across Europe, first to Slovakia and Hungary in 1992, and then to Germany and the UK in 1994. When they entered the US market 3 years later, Red Bull was selling over 1 million cans every day. Soft drink giants like Coke and Pepsi could benefit from deeper pockets, but they underestimated the strategic intent of Mateschitz and the upcoming brand. He created a new species of corporation that focuses only on the downstream activities of the value chain, while outsourcing operations such as production and logistics. That means that Red Bull itself is actually not producing the drink. Production and filling of the cans is completely outsourced, so Red Bull can fully commit its resources to selling the drink. Looking at the profit margin, that pays off. One of Red Bull's secrets to success is that they can charge a much higher price than their competitors. Red Bull makes each can for approximately 9 cents. The suggested retail price for a can is $3.59. The biggest customers like Walmart and big grocery stores pay between $44 and $48 per case of 24 cans. That means $1.87 per can, which is more than 20 times the cost of production. To create a market for his product, Mateschitz first focused on the club scene. It's really hard to imagine a student party without several packs of Red Bull on hand, since the company actively made use of student brand managers. Brand managers were popular university students encouraged to promote Red Bull on university campuses and to throw parties at different locations, supplied entirely by Red Bull. Volkswagen Beetles with larger-than-life Red Bull cans strapped to their backs showed up at beaches, at colleges, gyms, and even office buildings with free samples. Bartenders quickly learned that this new drink was a money machine. It is likely that you have at least once tasted a Red Bull mixed with vodka or Jäger, since the mixes became 2 of the most popular drinks in bars everywhere. Soon, the beverage was sold at nightclubs and festivals around the world, creating a competitive advantage for the Austrian brand. But this was only the beginning of the Red Bull marketing machine. Through sponsorship and ownership of sports teams, Red Bull continuously engages with the customer in a deeper way than traditional advertising ever could. This allows its customers to feel active and intense by drinking from a can that bears the same logo as a Formula One car, a skateboard, and a record-breaking parachute. Instead of sober storytelling, Red Bull employs story performing. They don't do conventional marketing or try to look for stories to be associated with. They create their own stories and produce the content with their own media house. That means they hold the rights to all pictures of their events. With social media, this results in viral communication effects that drastically improve the return on marketing. The ultimate example for Red Bull's story performing was Felix Baumgartner jumping from space in 2012. The project cost Red Bull an impressive $50 million, but some experts estimated the global reporting about the event to be worth approximately $6 billion. So it was probably worth it. Both sponsoring extreme sporting events like this and selling products with an edge enables Red Bull to remain the market leader in its category. In 2019, they sold 7.5 billion cans, which helped create a revenue of over $6 billion. To reach that much revenue, they spent almost a third on marketing. But despite the huge marketing budget, the revenue growth of Red Bull slowed down since 2012. The company is depending almost completely on one product only, the energy drink. This limits its growth and can eventually become a big risk, especially with the growing awareness for health and nutrition. The focus on a product that causes obesity, insomnia, and diabetes might backfire eventually. Investments in sport teams and media production are therefore not only marketing activities, but the attempt to diversify and create additional value chains next to the can business. To implement sport as a business, Red Bull takes advantage of a fully integrated entertainment and media value chain that ranges from media production to team ownerships, broadcasting arrangements, and contract management. One example how that strategy can work are Red Bull's football teams. Owning more than one club gives them the opportunity to use synergies, for example, when developing talent. A player can potentially start his career in Brazil, move to Europe to play in the smaller Austrian league for Salzburg, and eventually join Red Bull Leipzig when he is ready to play in the Champions League. At the end of his career, he might move to the New York Bulls to spend the last years in the Major League Soccer. The team in New York is also a good example how private equity in sports can generate value for Red Bull.
Okay, thank you for watching that so thoughtfully. I just wanted to share the Red Bull story there and how they make their money, their history, and so on and so forth. So here it says, tell us about your brand. And the idea so far is that brands help us to shape our perceptions, and through our brands, we can create intergenerational products, perhaps even spark a change or create a movement. So is there anyone here who would like to, I did say it would be a bit interactive, and it takes a while to grow a brand. Could you tell us about your brand at this stage? Are there any takers? Otherwise, I'm going to move on to brand identity. Well, perhaps I should. So when we talk about brands, the first thing that comes to mind is the identity of the brand. This includes the logo, the colors, the typography, the taglines, and the overall adhesion of the brand. And branding work is a lot of work. Usually before a product is launched, this is where you spend a long time talking, for example, about the logo. What should the logo look like? Less is more. What colors should I use? If you use pink and white, what are you saying with the pink? Are you appealing to men with the pink? Or it's a neutral gender color? What tone of voice, brand? So let's just really quickly consider logo. The first interaction most people have with a product through branding is the logo, for example. So what does your logo say about you, about your company, about your not-for-profit, or about your business? So a well-designed logo should be visually appealing, distinct, and easily recognizable. When I was little, I had a fondness, I still do, for my sister. I call her Apple. And then the Apple company started. And you see their logo, how simplistic that is, really simplistic, okay? So well-designed logo should be recognizable, and it serves as a primary identifier of most brands. Just moving on quickly, we're all familiar with McDonald's, Twitter, for example, Best Buy. These are just some examples. Moving on quickly, what about colors? How do we choose colors? So at this stage, if anybody has insights to how they came about the colors for their logo, for their branding, how did they choose the colors? So colors play a very crucial role in brand identity, as they evoke emotions and create associations in consumers' minds. So examples of colors, look at Google, Slack. These are just practical examples of how global companies, when you use colors, when you look at Facebook and Skype has its own type of blue, and immediately you think, when you see that logo, you know what they're about, right? Yahoo, Yellow Pages, Starbucks coffee. All right, so colors are extremely important. Typography is a type of font we use, and it contributes to brand's identity. I was reading in my preparation that there are different types of font. If you want a business type font, you use a serial font. It's actually worth researching, actually. You use a serial font if you want to be formal. And that's the kind of font that Rolex uses. I had a slide, but I took it out. So different fonts convey different tones and emotions. So selecting fonts are extremely important, for consistency and brand recognition. Examples of fonts, examples of how typography is used in branding. They'll have their own particular character. These are brands where familiar with. And all these fonts gives brands an identity. Examples of fonts, you can take a look at Microsoft. And one of the things that you find out when you are doing branding work is it's got to be the same everywhere. Look at Microsoft is the same across all their platforms, on social media, their websites. Microsoft logo like this would not look different somewhere else. It's got to be the same, and so on and so forth. And as small business owners ourselves, we should make sure there's consistency across the various platforms that we engage with, the various spaces we inhabit. The visual style. Now, visual style is everything, the overall aesthetic and visual elements in brand communication, such as photography style, illustration style, graphic elements. Again, consistency is what is important here because it reinforces the brand image or the brand identity. I've got a small story to show you here when it comes to the tone of voice. The voice of a brand refers to the style and language and manner in which the brand communicates with its audience. The brand tone takes us into brand story and messaging. Some brands have a compelling message. You remember their story, you remember their tagline, and you want that product. There was a time when they used to say a particular product was from farmers in Africa, and people would, what was it called? Green, I can't remember, green something, and everybody would rush to buy that coffee because some part of it was going back to Africa. So this story that's coming up talks about Run Like a Girl with Always. Take a listen here to the story messaging, to the tone, to the impact of the story, why some people will go out of their way to buy the Always pad. And I think this video kind of like summarizes for me the tone and the messaging behind this branding.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to just give you some actions to do. And just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
Here.
Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aw. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No, I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. Sounds like a bad thing. Sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down because during that time, they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swing like a girl?
Keep doing it because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. Doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl and I swim like a girl and I walk like a girl and I wake up in the morning like a girl because I am a girl. And that's not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's what they should do.
If I asked you to run like a girl now, Would you do it differently?
I would run like myself.
Do you like a chance to redo it?
Why can't run like a girl also mean win the race?
Okay, you listened to that very beautifully. As a matter of fact, it scared me. So I'm gonna pause right now and put it back to you. Let's have okay, sorry about that. Let's have a short discussion. So far, what could you take from this back? What could you apply from any of this back into your own products and businesses? What can you incorporate into your business or your branding life? Anyone?
I think what I can incorporate is that branding really matters, and I should take a bit more thought into, like, I know when I started out my small business and they were like, I need a logo. I told the guy, just make me any logo. Just what color? I don't know. Just give me two colors that work, that are complementary. So I really didn't take a lot of, because I was so eager to start the business, so eager to start the work, so eager to prepare all those letterheads and websites and this and that, that I don't know that I took a lot of thought into my branding. And I think it's also that whole idea that I'm so small, nobody knows me anyways, so I'm not Apple. Like when I get Apple money, I'll start branding like Apple money, like Apple. Or when I have Coke money, I'll start doing like them, you know. So let me not compare myself. Let me just get a small logo, get it done really quickly, and not put some thought into it. But then I'm learning in this our entrepreneurship journey that the if you want to be big, is how deep of the foundation that you put down and that will sustain your growth, right? A lot of these brands that we are seeing, they've been there since the 70s. They've been there since the 80s. I don't think Apple has changed their logo since they started. I can't recall that they've changed. Even Coca-Cola, I don't recall them having changed their logo either. So imagine the same logo has carried them. Even Nike, still the same. If you saw that movie, the guy, the shoe god, is that his shoe god? I forget his name now. Said he paid a lady $35 to design the logo. This was when they started, and at the time, he wasn't sure if it was going to grow on him. But look at how the Nike brand now has grown. If you saw the movie, the one with the hair, it's on Amazon, I believe. The Michael Jordan story, and thought there was a brief comment about how they came up with their branding and what was that check mark for, and how did that come about, and they're still using the branding, and so I guess the point is, I want to run business like a way it should be run. I don't want to do
Yeah, it does also take a lot of money and time and effort at the start of any initiative for business to properly plan it. And that's what branding is. Because branding is not social media management. We're coming to that. Branding is the initial mental work that you do when you project where you want to be in 3 months, in 6 months, in 5 years, in 10 years. That's branding. How do you want the public to perceive you? What do you want the public to think about your product? You know, do you want it to be intergenerational? What do you want your brand to say about you? Thank you very much, Tayo. Are there any other comments, questions, thoughts? Or are people just having their night coffee, their dinners, reading a book? Anybody else?
I think for me, sorry, branding is also like how you dress. You know, the way people see you, if you dress well, people are like, that lady, she's always well dressed, she's always well put together. I don't know if some people have people in there, maybe their churches or their place of gathering, and you have this woman who just know how to combine everything. And you never saw them without their makeup. That's their brand, you know. And that's the same way I see branding. How do I combine my products in a good way that people see and they know, yes, this is the tire touch.
Yeah. What I thank you very much. And Anna just said she's still defining that. It does take time. It does take time to work it out. And I think the best brands also take money as well to find that right logo. And Taya, thanks for your comments. When you said you're right, we just give a designer, pay the money, just get me a logo, without much thought, and then we are just left with some sort of randy image and a triangle is meant to define our business, our business logo, our business life. But what does a triangle mean? We don't know. What do the lines mean? We don't know. It's something to think about, because if we want to create intergenerational products, we want to leave prints in the sands of time, then our businesses, we must really think through these concepts critically. So we're nearly done with this presentation. I want to thank you all for your time. Brand assets, what are they? These are the additional elements, visual and verbal, that support your identity. And don't forget, we said identity was color, font, and so on and so forth, such as your taglines, your slogans, your brand guidelines, your packaging, your design, the website design, everything else that works hand in hand with your business and your brand assets. Now, if you look at Amazon, for example, they have a promise to deliver your products within 2 hours. That's one of their brand assets. If you look at I can't remember any. Yeah. What about Uber? Gets you to where you're going in less than an hour, half an hour, with safety. What about Airbnb? So these are brand assets. The way they use their resources, brand assets, the way they use their brands across multiple platforms. So what I was trying to do here is just to give you a guide. Like if you're looking for colors, Paletton.com is a good place to mix and match colors, to play around with colors, till you find the color set that works for you. That's just what I was doing here. If you need, there's my slide. If you need like free high quality stock photos, one of the places to go is Unsplash. These are free. And you'd have to choose, hopefully, a photo or an image that has not been used multiple times, something that defines you at the core. Unsplash is mainly free. For Black people, we have, oh my goodness, there's actually a place like Unsplash for Black content creators. The name skips me now. Is it Nippy? I think it's nippy.nippo.co. Is it Nippy? Let's try nippy.com. Can you still see my screen? No, it's not Nippy.
Yes.
Okay. If I find it out, but there's a Black resource for, I should think about it now. There's also Pixels and Pixabay. I just was thinking here about resources. Now, if you want free fonts, there's the front as well. You click on it and you can choose the free ones. Just play around, do some research and decide what you want to, the kind of fonts you want to use. Okay. Okay, so we have like 1 or 2 more slides. How are we doing with time? Less than 10 minutes. Okay, so brand positioning involves how we position our product before our market. It involves defining the unique value proposition and target market for our brands. Brand positioning is how we differentiate or distinguish our product from our competitors. Look, for example, there's Superstore, there's Walmart. How do they position their brands? There's McDonald's, there's Starbucks, there's Burger King. Brand positioning. Effective positioning helps to create a clear and compelling brand image. I want Wendy's and not Burger King or McDonald's. Brand experiences, the experiences we have, the memorable experience, hopefully. Okay. When we've done our branding right, customers should have positive brand experiences across the various touch points, such as the website, the packaging, the customer service, advertising, social media presence. Everything will leave a positive and memorable brand experience. Now, as a small business owner, how do we create that positive, memorable brand experience for our customers? Your thoughts? as a small business owner, how do we create? How would you create, for example, for your brand, for your business, that positive and memorable brand experience, which is crucial for building customer loyalty and advocacy? What, okay, Ms. Taiwo, did you want to say something? Yes, no? Okay. One example that I had was I was an admin at the tax clinic that we did. And I remember the first year we did it, we were at the Africa Center here in Edmonton, and my goodness, there was a huge crowd. And Tayo was, Tayo was working with a team, and my job was to keep people flowing. And the only thing I was particular about was I didn't want many people to be sitting and waiting. I didn't want them to say, oh, these people kept me waiting. And thankfully, I listened to Tayo, who said, look, everybody should have a good experience here today. Let's just make sure everyone feels heard. We give each of them a good service. We moved to the next year, and I was the one taking the phone call. About 95, 99% of the people who called, guess who they wanted? They wanted Tayo. They said they want Tayo. Okay, can we get you another account? And they said, no, one Tayo. And I just reflected, Tayo gave them a good experience, a positive experience the last time they called. And that's the thing with brand experiences. We should make sure that in every interaction that we have with our customers, that we're creating positive, even to the minutest detail. That is what will keep customer loyalty, keep our customers coming back. Brand reputation is, I think I'm going to end it here. Brand reputation is very important. I think, okay, it refers to the perceptions and opinions that customers hold about the brand. Maintaining a strong and positive brand reputation requires consistent delivery on brand promises. Now, reputation is everything. Someone asked a question. Beautiful. Okay. Yes, Mrs. Akini.
Yes, thank you so much for this information. It's been so helpful. And just to talk about branding, just like what you've been saying, I have a small business where I run in my basement, and it is called Timeless Wears, where I sell ladies' wears majorly and a little bit of men's clothing. And what I saw is some ladies, when you go to malls, is when they are in the changing room, they want to take a snap, a picture of what they're wearing to see how they look later. So I just put that in my business. I have the music playing and I have candies always there. And when a customer is trying on a dress, from the permission, after having permission from the customer, I do a little bit of recording. The music is playing, a nice one that is danceable. You see every lady coming in wearing their dresses, dancing joyfully. So I just do a little bit of recording, send that back to them. And I see they are very happy. So I'll be building on this, and that has been helping me. A customer said it's timeless wears or nothing. I'm like, okay, this is good. And she's been consistent, coming back over and over. So a little bit ahead of others will make our brand to speak louder for us. So that's just what I want to say. Thank you.
I'm grateful. Thank you so very much. Sometimes when we go out of our way, taking photo, the music, the ambience, the environment, Ms. Akini has given it some thoughts. And and it's growing. Very soon, she would have, an entire, floor unit. She'll move from our basement to a mall. But it's in the little mindful things that we do to provoke that positive customer experience. I'm going to skip this video. It's running out of time. To talk about brand, someone else wants to say something. Brand extension. Okay, nobody's saying anything. Okay, so this involves expanding the brand into new product categories or markets. So when people know your brand extensions help to capitalize on your recognition and to generate loyalty. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is Coke. We know the normal Coke. There's the green bottle and there's zero. Look at Apple brand extension. There's the Apple Watch, there's the Apple phone, and there's the iPad. Brand extension. This is Starbucks, and Starbucks is such a sophisticated and clumsy place at the same time. Can't even pronounce their product, but heck, I want it anyway. I say no, they want the grande. It's grande, small, medium, or large. It's grande. It's so exotic. Well, people will queue for that experience. They want the grande brand extension, so they have different types. Okay, finally, this is the bit you've been waiting for. How do we manage our brand? This involves the ongoing monitoring, and this is where the work starts. Monitoring, evaluation, the strategic development of the brand. It involves activities such as brand audits, market research, tracking, and making adjustments to maintain brand relevance and effectiveness. Most small businesses, we don't have enough money. We don't put a budget out for brand management because we're not making that money. We have our main jobs, we're busy. But big companies like Apple, for example, they have a whole department that watches their brand. So when we talk about brand management, monthly tracking, web development, content writing, internet marketing, you can see the whole plethora of what makes it worthwhile, graphic design, all the things you need to do when you're looking after your brand. And finally, an effective branding can help differentiate us in a crowded marketplace. Effective branding helps us to build trust and loyalty with our customers, and it is ultimately the best way to drive business success. I think I'm done. I've got 4 minutes. I'm done. What are you taking away tonight? What are your takeaways? Was there anything that provoked any questions? Okay, good. Was there anything that provoked, thank you very much. Was there anything that provoked some critical thinking? Was there anything that provoked you in any way? Did anything rub you the right way or the wrong way? Anne says, I like what you said about the fact that it takes time. That's right. I'm still definitely building and defining my business brand. Thank you, Anne. Amazing, Mrs. Akine. Anne said, thanks for sharing. Thank you. Aubrey says, that was informative, really. Oh, why, Aubrey? Thank you very much. So any questions? We've got about 4 minutes. Aubrey, your hand is up. Yes, please.
For me, I was just gonna say that everything here today was really informative, like I said, and it's a lot, to be honest. Like it can be overwhelming, especially like when you're a small business and you're looking at examples from big companies, established companies. So but at the same time, I realized that all those big companies were once startups as well.
Yeah.
And I believe if you cross all your T's and I's and you do the work from the beginning and you put in the plan and you put in that effort, I think it's it's your caucus, it's your backbone basically for the business. It takes you, far. It takes you farther than you think it might. Because you look at yourself as a small business, you're like, oh, how do I compare with Apple? But yeah, I mean, Apple, Microsoft started like in a garage, right? Or basement.
Yeah. Yes, Microsoft did. And there's a book I remember just whilst you started to speak, Breck, something hosted. When you do little things every day, at some point in the future, you become big or you achieve a certain set of hopes and objectives. He's a guy, I'll put it on the WhatsApp group. You're right, Rome wasn't built in a day. We all need to take little steps to get to where we need to get to. I'm gonna stop recording.